Hello, everybody. This is the Love Yourself Guru. Welcome to the Love Yourself TV. Now, today we're going to cover a really interesting book that I came across. It's called The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work by Dr. John M. Gottman and Nan Silver. And the reason why let me tell you a bit about John Gottman. So John Gottman, he is known to be the world's leading expert and researcher on what makes marriage work, and he has been studying relationships for 42 years. And what he did was, in Washington, he created what he called was his love lab. And this love lab is like a studio apartment, okay? And so it basically looks like home. And what he did was he asked couples to come and to stay the night, and he asked them just to act normally. And he also asked them to talk about a challenging topic. And then what he did was so they talked about a challenging topic, but there were cameras. So him and his team, they were taping their every move. There were cameras. And I think they also asked the participants for urine samples to check their stress levels. Really interesting. And so his data, so he has 91% accuracy on predicting whether or not a couple will stay married or stay happily married or get divorced within just 15 minutes of seeing how they interact with each other. And he said that's not due to his opinion, it's due to the data that they've collected. And what they found was these 7 principles. They found that happily married couples, whether they did it consciously or unconsciously, happily married couples had these 7 principles in their marriage. And unhappily married couples or couples that left each other, were missing one or quite a few of these principles. So this is what we're going to do in the video. We're going to go through these principles. We're not going to go through all of them. I've only chosen 3. I've chosen 3 that I thought would be best to go through. And we're going to go through the 3 principles that I've chosen. But what we're also going to do is, that I believe that all our relationships are a mirror of the relationship that we have with ourselves, the relationship that you have with yourself. So the relationship that you will have yourself will shadow all the rest of the relationships that you have in your life. So I firmly believe that you should work on yourself first, and then you work on the relationship that you have either in your marriage or with your friendships or with your family. So we're going to look at the 3 principles, and with each principle, we're going to look at it, but then we're going to go back a step and see how you can apply that principle to yourself first, and then apply it to your marriage. But this video, don't worry if you're not married, this video is for people that are married and not married, because we're going to see how to apply the principle on yourself first. And so if you're married, you apply it on yourself, and then you apply it on you and your partner. If you're not married, you apply it on yourself, and it will give you an awareness of what to do when you do get married, when you do get into a relationship. So basically, this is for everybody. Okay, so let's begin. Principle number 1 is enhancing your love maps. Now, Gottman found that happy couples, they knew each other really well. They were really good friends with each other, and they knew each other really well. And you're probably thinking, well, everybody knows each other really well. You're not going to be married and not know the other person. Yeah, a lot of people are married and they don't really know each other. I know in my first marriage, my ex didn't know anything about me, honestly. He didn't even take the time to ask. It wasn't, he never asked. So thank God a billion times with my marriage now, we're best friends. So there are marriages where people really don't take the time to know each other, and it either ends up very unhappily or you leave one another. Now, so what he says was the couples knew each other's dreams, they knew each other's beliefs, they knew each other's values, they knew their opinions they had of each other's friends. They really took the time to know each other. And they didn't just know each other at the beginning of the relationship. You know, when you first meet somebody, you want to know everything about him or her. No, they did that. But it was also throughout the relationship, because you do change, don't you, throughout your relationship. So for instance, when you have a baby, you change. Experiences in life, they change you. So they took the time to know each other through all the different stages of their life together. And one way that they knew each other was they would ask open-ended questions. And Gottman says, if you want to build a relationship with anybody, not just with your husband or your wife, start asking open-ended questions. Because when you just throw out a statement, you're giving your opinion. He says, stop giving your opinion and start asking open-ended questions like, how was your day today? Or how are you finding motherhood? How are you feeling after you've just had that baby? Or how are you finding that new job? How are you finding this situation? So couples would actually sit down and ask, what did you feel about that? Couples would sit down, happily married couples would sit down and ask open-ended questions and have a general interest. They would be interested in their partner's lives. So let's bring this back to you. The question I want to ask you, are you interested in your life? Do you really know yourself? Do you know yourself? Have you taken the time to know yourself? Do you know what you like? Do you know what you dislike? Have you defined your dreams? Have you defined your goals? Do you know your strengths? Are you working on them? Do you know your weaknesses? Have you taken the time to know yourself? Because if you've not taken the time to get to know yourself, it's very unfair for you to expect anybody else to take that time to get to know you. You need to know, you need to take the time to know yourself. And secondly, even if you did get a partner that was really attentive and took the time to get to know you, you would feel that he or she doesn't know you, and you would feel misunderstood because you haven't defined what that feels like. You've not experienced that. You have to experience that first in order for you to actually acknowledge that somebody else is doing it and appreciate it. So for principle number one, it's really important. Have you taken the time to get to know yourself? And start asking yourself open-ended questions. Well, how do I feel about this? How am I feeling now that I've had a baby? How do I feel about working and being at home, doing both things? Do I want to do both things? How do I feel about seeing these people? Do I want to see these people? Ask yourself open-ended questions. You'll get a lot of answers. You'll know yourself more. Now, once you've done that and you feel that you really get to know yourself, start with your partner. Even if you've been married for 10, 15 years and you say to me, I've been married for 10, 15 years, no hope. It's because these principles are for people who want to improve their marriage or want to heal their marriage. So a lot of my clients, they come to me and the relationship it needs healing. It needs healing. But even if you have been married for 10, 15, 20 years, it doesn't matter. And you have the intention of healing your relationship, start asking your partner open-ended questions. And not open-ended questions to find out what he or she is doing or to try to find fault in something. No. Open-ended questions to really try and understand your partner. Because when you understand somebody, yes, when you understand somebody, when you understand somebody, you can communicate with them. And if you don't understand something, so knowledge is power. When you know, yes, you understand. And that's what I was trying to say. Brain freeze again. So when you know, you understand. And when you understand, you know how to communicate. And communication is the heart of any relationship. So you can't communicate with somebody that you don't know. Really get to know that person. Really get to know and fall in love with that person once more. Okay, so that's principle number one. Principle number two is fondness and admiration. Gottman found that happy couples are fond of each other. The word that he used often was cherish. They cherished one another. They really cherished it. They were good friends. Again, this comes up a lot. They were good friends. And And what he found was good couples, they talked about the good old days. So they talked about their experiences in the past, their good experiences in the past, and they would laugh about it. And what they found was unhappy married couples, really, they couldn't remember any good times in the past. They would just recall the bad experiences. So, and he actually advises couples to do this, to sit down and to always recall the good times, to actually talk about them. And so, are you, the question, so the question I want to ask you, the question I want to ask you is to bring this back to yourself is, do you appreciate yourself? Do you cherish yourself? Are you your own friend? Because if you don't cherish and appreciate yourself, and you're not a good friend with yourself, you can't, again, expect anybody else to be a good friend to you. You have to be a good friend to yourself first. You really have to cherish and appreciate yourself. And how are you with the past? I've said it in my previous videos. If you're the kind of person that only recalls the bad times in the past, you're just going to keep on recreating that. Try to change that and try to remember the good times, even if there's only a few. Talk about the good times more. Talk about the good times more. Talk about the blessings that came out of the past more, rather than talking about negative events. Either talk about, not just with you, it's your past, your childhood. Try to find the good times and really talk about them. And then and try to really befriend yourself. Be your own best friend. Really love, honor, and respect yourself. And then once you've done that, then go on to your partner and really start to cherish your partner. Really start to be fond of your partner. And it's become so easy because you're fond of yourself. You're really fond of yourself. And it's amazing. You know what? When you're fond of yourself and when you cherish yourself, you're so fun to be around. I swear to God, you're so fun to be around. Because you just take everything easy. You're given everything you need. You're so fun to be around. So be friends with yourself. Be fond about yourself. Cherish yourself, and then recall all the good times in the past, and then go on to your partner and start to cherish your partner, start to befriend your partner, start to recall times of when you first met, or when, for instance, me, with my husband, we always recall a time we just got married, and we had our first daughter, and I was like 7 months pregnant with our second daughter. And when I get pregnant, I mean, my stomach was out here, barely just wobbling about. And we decided to go to Marrakesh. We decided to go to Marrakesh in like a hotel in the mountains. And we went, and normally the hotels are beautiful. It's not a hotel, it's like probably a B&B, but on the internet, on the site, it just looked absolutely gorgeous. But when we got there, oh my God, it was totally opposite to the pictures. And till now, we laugh about the look on my face. Just the look on my face, the look of, I can't do this. I can't sleep here. And so it was a really dodgy experience, but we laughed about it. We found the blessings in it. It just made us laugh. So we always remember that. Okay. Everybody okay with that? Principle number 2? Okay, principle number 3 is turn towards each other. This is a really interesting one. Okay. So Gottman gave, in his book, he defined something called a bid. And a bid is apparently couples throughout the day and throughout the relationship, they bid for attention. They want attention from one another. They bid for attention. And so a bid could be something like your husband's in the supermarket and he says to you, or your wife's in the supermarket and she says to you, could you just check the freezer? Do we have any chicken in the freezer? I've forgotten if we've got any chicken in the freezer. Or it could say, would you like a cup of coffee? Or when you walk in, when you come home from work, when you say, hi, how are you? I've missed you. These are all little bids for attention. And happily married couples, when a bid was made, they turned towards their partner. Unhappily married couples, they turned away from their partner. So turning towards your partner would look like Let's give the supermarket example. Turn towards your partner would look like, let's say your wife phoned you from, or your husband phoned you from the supermarket and said, I'm in the supermarket buying this, and could you just check if we've got some chicken in the freezer? Turning towards would look like, yeah, of course, thank you. Just give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. And then you go and check. Turning away from your partner would be, if he would ask you, do we have any chicken in the freezer? Would say, turning away would be, how many times have I told you? Before you go to the supermarket, could you just check the freezer? Do I have to do everything in this relationship? That would be turning away from your partner. Or let's say if you come in the house and you say, hi, how are you? And your partner is on the phone. If he or she is going to turn towards you, they would put the phone down, make eye contact, say, I'm fine, how are you? I've really missed you. Turning towards your partner. Away would be, oh, I'm fine, how are you? Staying on the phone. And he actually says this. He says partners turn away from each other with the phone. They literally, they forget. I call it finger syndrome, phone syndrome. They forget the attention that their partner needs is taken away. The phone almost like takes it. So for principle number 3 is bids are given throughout the day. Happily married couples, when a bid is given, they make effort and they turn towards the partner. Unhappily married couples or couples that leave each other, they turn away. And so if you really think about it, throughout the day, you'll have at least 10 or 15 bids. And just be more aware of these bids. So the question I want to ask yourself is how do you treat yourself throughout the day? So we've already on my channel, we discuss mirror work a lot, but when you look at yourself in the mirror, how do you treat yourself? That's a bid for attention. Do you say, you're looking beautiful today, I love you, you're looking beautiful today? How do you treat yourself throughout the day? Do you rest? Do you say positive affirmations? Do you walk? Do you pray? Do you read? Do you give yourself time? How do you treat and how do you talk to yourself throughout the day? Are you nice throughout the day to yourself, or do you bully yourself? Give yourself that attention. Give yourself attention. And so once you start being nice to yourself throughout the day, and really give yourself the attention and the love and the nice words and the nice thoughts about yourself you need, then turn towards your partner and start really noticing when there's a bid. And when there's a bid, you turn towards your partner. Make sure that you consciously start to try to notice the bids and turn towards your partner. And so you probably think, well, why should I do it? Why shouldn't he do it? Well, yeah, you can both do it together if you're both watching this video. It's quite a nice video to watch, both of you. But if let's say one isn't as open to doing it as other, or is not the kind of person to actually sit down and talk about these things, do it. And what will happen is he or she will actually start to mirror your behavior without you even realizing it. Okay, I love you loads. Have a beautiful, brilliant, amazing day. I hope you liked the 3 principles. Please press the subscribe button and please press the like button. If anybody would like any life coaching sessions, a free introductory life coaching session, you'll find the link below. A link to my fictional memoir, my life biography, before becoming a guru, the Love Yourself Guru, is also below. I love you loads. Have a brilliant, beautiful, amazing day, and promise to love yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.